Well, Oilers fans, the streak came to the end of the other night, but hey, it was an amazing ride to be on as a fan. 16 straight games. Could have won that one in Vegas, just didn't capitalize on the scoring chances. And you know what? The streak had to come to an end at some point. I would have preferred after we made history, but hey, it was a great time to be an Oilers fan. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, like anything NHL, MLB related, we have it covered here on this channel. Of course, I'm a big Oilers fan. I know mostly about the Oilers, but do cover everyone else when need be. Now let's get into it. The trade deadline is exactly a month away, March 8th. And the Oilers, no one really knows what they need. People are saying, hey, we need a backup goalie to go 1-2 with Skinner. We need to upgrade our defense somehow. We need to upgrade our forwards. We need to move players, blah, blah, blah. Now let's get into this as Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner. We're going to start on the back end here. Have been playing phenomenal since, Jack Campbell went down. There is no doubt in my mind those two could ride us to the playoffs, but will they make a difference in the playoffs? And Calvin Pickard has shown he deserves to be up here. So is Jack Campbell maybe a trade piece to make up some salary cap room where you need be? Yes, but that will also take you to get draft picks gone unless a team is looking for a goalie just to kind of make it through the season. They know they're not going to make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. I think, the Oilers could stay pat unless the right price came in. I'm not talking Carey Price, no pun intended there, but the price that, maybe Marc-Andre Fleury's price goes down. You kind of bring him in to go 1-2 with Skinner, UC Saros. Their asking price is really high right now. I don't think the Edmonton Oilers are going to touch that. You also have Merzinklins, or however you say it, in Columbus, which, they kind of steered back away from trying to trade him as he is up with the team now. So there are options, but I think going forward, as of right now, you stick with Pickard and Stuart Skinner. And I'm just saying that because the price you're going to pay, you could probably use those price pieces somewhere else for a better defenseman or a better forward, which we'll get to in a minute here. Now, I know a lot of people after Vegas's game said Evan Bouchard's defensive game. Before we keep going on in this video, Evan Bouchard, when the Edmonton Oilers drafted him back in, 2017, 2018, whatever it was, knew what we were getting ourselves into. A highly elite offensive defenseman, which he has proven he can do in the NHL, with an upside to defense. Not as good as his offense. Evan Bouchard has been that one guy that since we drafted, it's all about the offense. Defense should come over time. And we're seeing that. His defensive game from last year, this year, has picked up a lot. I know people were harping on him after the game against Vegas. That's the defenseman we drafted. That's the defenseman you guys love. Call Boosh Bomb every time he scores. That's the type of defenseman we have. So Ken Holland, what did he do? He went out, got Duncan Keith a few years ago to help play with Bouchard, a defensive defenseman, to help him, Matthias Ekholm. So when things go south, you can't just blame Bouchard. We know what we have in Bouchard. It's going to happen. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, let's, if we need to upgrade defense, who's the odd man out? A lot of people said Brett Kulak. If you actually go into the in-depth numbers of everything, Kulak and Desharnais are actually ranked 5th among NHL defenseman pairings in goals above average or something like that. I saw the stat the other day and it made me think of doing this video. They are actually becoming a really solid defensive pairing. Desharnais has really improved over the course of this year, and since he came in last year, actually showing he's putting the skating in, he's putting the work in, he has become that third pairing shutdown defense that we need, and it's actually it's helping Kulak being that puck-moving defenseman we brought him in to be, and it's a pretty solid pairing. You're not moving Evan Bouchard or Matthias Ekholm. Matthias Ekholm's been a beast for the Edmonton Oilers since they traded for him. Well, you're not moving Darnell Nurse because through the 16-game winning streak and even before that, after the whole horrible start the Oilers had, Darnell Nurse has been one of our best defenders, if not the best, out of everyone. So that leaves Cody Ceci. who, again, if you go into the in-depth numbers, has had a pretty good season after, of course, the terrible start. Everything I'm talking about now, besides Jack Campbell, is after the terrible start the Oilers went through in the Cup or Bust season. So if you're moving from CC, and I know there was one line, it was from a TSN insider saying, if you're moving from, or it was Luke Gazdic, sorry. If you're moving on from CC, you better make sure it's a major upgrade. And that's what the Edmonton Oilers need to do. If they are going to go out, bring in another solid Matthias Ekholm type of player, it better be a major upgrade to CC, because CC has been playing great this season as well. I know the goals aren't there. I think it's 124 games going into Anaheim or something like that. But hey, he's doing all the defensive work, and him and Nurse have been pretty good together over the last, 24, 27 games, whatever it is. They've been one of the best deep pairings in the NHL too. So you look at that. Yes, if you are trading a defenseman, it's more than likely going to be CC, but you need to make a major move over top of that. Now, I'm not saying Kulak couldn't be in the mix in that, just CC has the more value than Brett Kulak. Now, going forward-wise, yes, we signed Corey Perry, got him for free technically in terms. We didn't have to give up anything for him, and he's been playing pretty solid. But if you look at teams that are ahead of us in the standings, Vegas, Vancouver now after the Lindholm trade, they have depth in their bottom six. I know with the penalty kill and stuff, Connor Brown's been really good, Matthias Janmark's been really good, Derek Ryan's been really good. I just don't see a scenario where the Oilers can just go with that line or this bottom six we have. Yes, Holloway, Perry, fantastic. If you move Evander Kane down to Perry, Holloway, and move McLeod up, sure. Our top three lines are pretty simple, pretty good. But that fourth line, I know a lot of people, the penalty kill's been great, but Connor Brown's not scoring. We are on game, 46, 47, and Connor Brown does not have a goal yet. I'm sorry. I get the whole injury thing is, it goes for the first 15, 20 games, but now it's just ridiculous. He is not scoring. Yes, penalty kill-wise, he's been great, but if we can bring in another Connor Brown penalty killer who can actually score 5-on-5, then that's an upgrade to Connor Brown. Matthias Janmark, same thing. Amazing penalty killer, but he's not really producing offensively this year, where we need the fourth line scoring once every 2 games. Just one goal. I don't care who it is. You put Sam Gagner into that lineup, Gagner scores, or, you call up whoever, they score. 1 goal every 2 games from our fourth line would be amazing. That's literally 41 games a year divided by, say, 4 guys. That's 10 goals. Of course, injuries and stuff, you bring in Lavoie or whatever. They should be easily scoring, 8 to 12 goals each, and they're not on that. And of course, Derek Ryan, I don't think you move on from Derek Ryan. He's going to be our fourth line center, can play penalty kill. Him and Nuge on the penalty kill are amazing. So now you got to talk about, okay, if we're gonna upgrade our bottom 6, is it gonna come from a Warren Foegele sliding down, Evander Kane sliding down? Are we gonna upgrade our top 6 to bring those guys down? There are names out there. I know I forgot to say in the defensive side, Chris Tanev, Darren Dreger actually said the Oilers could be in on Chris Tanev this year. He's a name that keeps popping up. And then, of course, is it maybe reunion time? The Edmonton Oilers likes to do that. Maybe you go see if Seattle will part ways with Jordan Eberle, and I'm a huge Eberle fan. If that happened, my head would explode. I'd be on top of the moon. I'd be so ecstatic if Jordan Eberle came back. Now, the problem with Jordan Eberle and, of course, Jake Getzel's name's been kind of going around for a bit too in Oiler country, is it's going to be money in, money out. Now, of course, you got Jack Campbell's money, who you could possibly move. Of course, it's going to cost you a little bit. So Jake Getzel, Jordan Eberle be all nice, but then we got to talk about money moving out. So Jack Campbell, if you're doing that and Pittsburgh or Seattle's willing to retain, I'm sorry, but it could be, Warren Foegele would be the easiest. You don't want to get rid of Evander Kane, even though he's kind of gone on the downhill ever since coming to Edmonton after his first year. But Warren Foegele would be the best. And Warren Fogel's not having a bad season. I'm just pointing he would be the easiest one to part ways with if you were going to do a trade. Not saying I want that to happen, because if you go out, get a Jordan Eberle, Jake Getzel, Warren Foegele on the third line, say, with Perry and Holloway or McLeod or whatever, that's a pretty solid third line still. And then that pushes the guy to the fourth line to even upgrade our fourth line. So it's a domino effect when it comes to the Oilers trade deadline targets and stuff here in the next month. And like I said, they better not stay pat. I think we're past the whole trades of like Andre Anthony where we gave up 2 second rounds for him. I think the whole trade-in with Detroit should be done. I don't see a scenario unless you're going to try and go in a fantasy world and get Alex DeBrincat. There's no one from Detroit that I think could benefit the Oilers as of right now. Yes, Patty Kane, I guess, could, and Patty Kane does have in his contract that he wants to go to a cup contender if Detroit is not in the playoffs, which, as last I checked yesterday, they were hanging on to the second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. So there are some names out there that the Oilers could definitely use as an upgrade, as either a short-term rental or a long-term. Of course, the salary cap going up next year doesn't really help us, considering that Connor Brown's eating 3.75 or 3.25 of it next year. Oh, my camera froze here. Oh, there we go. Now it's back. So yeah, that's going to be my ramblings. Let me know in the comments the names I have heard have been, Lindholm's gone off the board. Monahan, I was going to say, was going to be another one, but Winnipeg snatched him up. So the names I'm hearing is Chris Tanev, Ebbs. Like I said, if Everly came back to oil country, ooh-wee, that'd be great. Jake Getzel, but of course, like I also said, money in, money out. It starts with possibly moving Jack Campbell before all the other dominoes can fall over. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Gillis TV. Have a good one.